You're going to open this file here, the thing that just installed. So now we're going to walk through two installation ways to do this, two ways to do the installation. You open this, you'll find a folder inside called scenebuild_landscape, well, whatever the name is. And inside you'll find elements, maps, materials, models. The way that this download is set up is that it's set up like a mod, like any other game mod. Whoopsie. It's set up like any other game mod. And so you go to your game, it's just like these other folders here. This is your directory. So common, source filmmaker game. Here I have insurgency and all these other kinds of games. What you can do is the first way to install this is to just drag and drop this. Boom, just like that. It'll do this magic here. And now you have a thing called scenebuild_landscape, whatever. And now what you want to do is you want to go to your user mod, wherever your gameinfo.txt is. You go to your user mod, which it's usually in there, the one that your SFEM calls on. You go to this folder right here, this document right here called gameinfo.txt. You open that. You'll be presented with your game info file, and you're going to add the line. Okay, interesting. I saved this. You're going to add the line of that exact thing. So you type in game, and then we're just going to copy paste the exact verbiage here. So copy, paste, and now you save. And now that will appear in SFM. And so let's just do that right now, where we load SFM. So now what you want to do is you go to open session, and you go to, you go back, because normally the open session starts you out in your user mod elements sessions. You go back to your game directory. You find that exact file here. You double click open it, right? Then you go to elements, and you go to sessions, and you go to scenebuild store. And in here, you'll find your DMX that has the scenebuild. So we're not going to click it open yet, but that's where you find it. So anyway, the second way to install, which I'm going to show you, is, let's just say, for instance, you purchased a bunch of them, right? A bunch of different scene builds. You have all 7 of these here. What you want to do is you just go to your source filmmaker game, okay? And you just create a new folder. And now I'm going to call this new folder Fluid Script Studios _scenebuilds, okay? And you're going to, and oh, by the way, you also, you don't want any spaces in the name. Just put an underscore and make everything lowercase. I think that has to do with how SFM recognizes things. I guess they can be uppercase, but try not to have spaces. Otherwise, SFM will have trouble reading it. So you put an underscore there. Double click on it. It's an empty folder, right? Then what you want to do is you open up all the scene builds that you purchased. And rather than dragging this thing, okay, you double click and you take the elements, maps, materials, models, and you dump that into the files, okay? I'm going to do this all right now, I think. But let's see. So anyway, dumping another one. So I'm going to open that. Cyberpunk bathroom here. We take this. We drag that in as well. And what's going to happen is this is going to do this thing. And then it's going to probably prompt you for to replace files. So what you want to do is you want to replace the files in the destination. Don't worry about it. This is totally fine. Just replace the files. It uses a lot of the same architecture. So just replace. There's nothing bad if you do that. So you replace everything. There we go. And lake. So we're going to take lake, dump it in there. Replace the files. When it decides to finish that up, you are good to go. Oh yeah, by the way, don't forget to edit your game info. Okay, so the folder you just created with script, that's fluid studios underscore build. What did I name it? I named it builds with an S. Okay, so you're going to save. Then you're going to open sfem. And now, so that's the installation, and I'm going to just open a file here right now. The next step is to go in. So here, this. So we're going to go to where we installed our things. Let's go here to, let's start with the lake first. Actually, no, let's do this. Let's go to Valley, because I imagine that's what people mostly downloaded. So Elements, Sessions, Scene Build Store, Valley. Hope that it's not purple checkerboard, because that would just be really terrible. But anyway, so that's the installation process for the thing. I know I'm talking very long about it, I guess, but it's really not that long. Just it's the same as how you would treat any other game, any other mod that you would receive. Okay, so now, so you opened your scene build. The first thing you want to do is you want to, well, first thing that I suggest that you do is you save as, okay, save as, and then rather than messing with your original download that you got, you go back to where your sessions are normally kept in user mod, elements, sessions, and here you just call it something like let's call it Valley Movie, okay? Because that's your movie. So now, refresh it real quick. Valley Movie is the name of our new session. And now, if you want to go and make your movie, you don't need to go back anymore into your directories. You just go to, you know, whatever date modified, and it's right there in your user mod, okay? So anyway, when you open the scene build, it'll appear like this. Now this seems rather normal, but otherwise, you might see like things all over the place and all weird and stuff like that. Because the first thing you want to do is you want to go and enable your directional scaling script. Practically all the scene builds use it. So you go to scripts, you go to UMFC, you go to directional scale patch. That will patch, and you hit continue. And what you'll notice, the tree shrank, the mountains shrank a little bit, and now you're good to go, right? And if you're using Kiwi's directional, Kiwi's light patch, it got updated at some point so that it's a script or something. But just make sure you have your now none of the scene builds go above 16 lights, but some of them do go above 8, you know, 9, 10 sometimes. So you want to make sure that you at least set your light count up to 16 at least, you know. If you have Kiwi's special DLL, then you don't have to worry about using a script. But anyway, this is what you'll see when you open the screen. Now, I know that the first thing people like to do is they like to create their own camera, right? They'll go to create new animation set camera. My suggestion is not to do this, because what's going to happen is, well, let's see if that actually, yeah, so you see how when I back up and you see this black thing over here, the reason that happens is because your new camera, right, if you were to go into the element viewer and you looked at the ZFAR on your new camera, it only says 28,000 units. And this map is the full size. So you have to actually increase this number to not see this black thing. So what I suggest, rather than creating a new camera, just not doing that at all. you use your main camera here. This is your main camera. It's already got fixed settings, so it'll turn your bloom scale down, and appropriate tone map scale and things like that. You can also look at the camera and you'll see that it's got an increased ZFAR range. And so anyway, that's what you want to use. You can leave it as default, right? You can also use it to move it around. And what I suggest is you take this camera and you can copy and paste it, okay? And just do that. That way you're never dealing with that black thing. Like as you can see, I'm zooming out and I never get the black circle. So anyway, we're gonna go again. Now the most important thing to understand about this is the limitations with the lighting system. For the most part, okay, so here's how to use the lighting system, first of all. If you enable this, so what this thing is called the global illumination origin. And you can actually enable this to see it. Well, to see the actual element. And what you'll normally see, hopefully I did it in such a way where you should be able to see it properly, is a little view of the skybox. Is this proper? Let me just make. Yay, yes it is. Okay, so you'll see a little view of the skybox, and there you'll actually see it. What you'll notice is this is exactly in the same orientation as the actual skybox. And so what you can actually do is all these systems are connected together. And so when you rotate this, you're actually rotating the skybox as well as the lighting, the global illumination, because remember the global illumination is based on the skybox stuff. So just undo. I'm going to rotate this. Well, first I'm going to let you guys look at the sun, like let you look at like how the sun is like pointing. By the way, something to mention about the global illumination is that it pretty much can do everything. It casts sunlight, ambient light, things like that. But anyway, you can see the sun direction. It's coming from over here. And you can kind of see that do its thing. We'll talk a bit about how to maneuver with the light setup. But okay, so now that you see it, it's loading up the samples here. What you want to do, or what you can do, is you take this global illumination origin and you can rotate it around. And now that the sun is over here, and let's see the lighting now. Just give it a moment. And so now you can see the lighting has changed. So now the sun is coming from this direction. And you just got to let it load. My suggestion, by the way, is to use 1024 samples, so that, because this is a very, SFM is not like the pinnacle of, we're really pushing the limits on, SFM here. So use 1024 samples so that the thing properly works. And so let it load and stuff like that. But yeah, so you can rotate this thing, this global illumination origin, and the setup will rotate everything with it so that it's always accurate. So let's set that back to what it was. Now, one thing I suggest is not to change. So if you were to look at these lights, these have all been calibrated to specific values. My suggestion is to not touch it at all if you can help it. Like literally don't touch it. The only thing that you might want to touch is your intensity if you like. However, if you change the intensity of this, you also have to change the intensity of this proportionally. And the reason for that is because there's two lights that make up this system. One of the lights is for the stage, the center subject area. The other light is for the background. And the background obviously has slightly less shadow resolution. And there is an object here, if you go into the global illumination internal tools, called an illumination disk. This illumination disk prevents the outside light, what's called the global illumination background, from penetrating into the subject with its uglier shadow resolution. So that's why this global illumination disk is here. So anyway, my suggestion is you don't want to touch it if you can help it. One thing, so now, so that's pretty much everything that you need to know for real. Let's just say you wanted to create your own sun rather than the sun of the global illumination. What's going to happen is you're going to have just a little bit of difficulty because of this illumination disk and the way that it works. So let's just pretend we're doing this right now. I'm just going to do that. Turn this on. Okay, as you can see, right, it turns off. You see that? And that's because the global illumination disk, this illumination disk, is actually blocking. It's blocking. I'll show you what it looks like. We'll turn the alpha on. It's this plane with a special texture on it that's supposed to has an effect on how the lighting works. As you can see, this thing, it will block the light. My suggestion, if you really want to use a special light for your sun, is you want to just you'll disable this at the cost of shadow quality leaking into the bad shadow quality leaking into your scene build. Now here's the thing about this is that it's not so bad. It's been optimized like crazy, so it's not going to be super, like, it's not going to be super crazy, you know, like it's not going to be terrible, you know what I mean? It will just be less. So as you can see here, you have your custom light peeking in. I don't know what the parameters on this light are, the one that I made. Let's just see what it is. So we'll real quick go and do this. Let me just disable everything so I can see what's going on. Okay, so let me adjust these. By the way, just in case you need to know, what I'm doing right now is setting up a custom sun in case you want to do that in your session. So let's do this. All right, this is my custom sun. I'm going to turn this stuff down. Decent shadow quality. And I'm going to turn the intensity down. I can turn this radius up somewhat. See how much it can act up. I'm going to enable this now. Okay, first I'm going to just take a look at what it looks like, what the sun is casting, you know. Okay, so the sun is casting this information onto the scene. Enable your global illumination so you can have your little custom sun. Oh, by the way, if you're making a sun, you want to put it in the same location as your skybox. But anyway, that's what it'll look like with your little custom setup. It still looks nice, you know. It'd be nice to have a frame of reference for your character. But anyway, so that's how you would make your own sun if you like. But the global illumination, it casts its own sun. So you don't need it, as you can see. And okay, and this happens. So you enable your illumination disk. Basically what I'm saying in this entire thing is to just not touch the lighting. You can, of course, obviously disable the lighting altogether and create your own lighting if you have issues with the global illumination stuff. Obviously, you lose out on that quality, but anyway, yeah. So that's for the most part everything you need to know. There's one last thing, which is down here. Disabled by default is the color clipping fix. And enabled by default is color banding fix. The color clipping fix is a thing that Anonymous Gamer made, which is a thing that fixes white clipping on your session. So what you want to do if you have it, right? If you've talked to him and got it from him, I don't know how he's released it. But if you happen to have it, you just unmute this and your color will unclip. And you'll have nice shading on, no color clipping on things, and your tone map and your thing will look like the actual proper you know, coloring and things like that, to get rid of the SFM look, you know. So if we go to scene build lake, what you'll see here is you'll see the water kind of messed up in black. That's because it uses a mirror map. Okay. What you want to do is you want to right click your viewport, draw game entities, and click world brush models, and the mirror will appear. This is actually a water map created by Lost Cause. So shout out to Lost Cause. If you purchase this scene build, he was a contributor for it. I wonder if... Okay, so he was a contributor to this, to create this water map. You can use this reference sphere to check your reflections. So if you enable this, you can actually take a look. You can actually take a look at your reflections that are happening. Anyway, it's reflecting the sky, so you can actually see the sky here. And if you were to actually place a character here and render it out, you know, in an animation, you'll see it reflecting properly off this sphere. As it would turn out, anything with fog on it will reflect stuff. So say you have two characters standing next to each other and they have reflective armor on them, they will reflect each other. So you'll see the reflections in their armor. Anyway, thank you guys, and I will see you in the next, I guess, tutorial or something.